Stellaris at this point is a pretty polished game, and even vanilla without any mods or DLCs, you can have a pretty enjoyable experience. That being said, even with all the DLCs over the years, there are still a few areas where the game can use a little bit more attention outside of new content. Today we're going to cover 8 quality of life mods to make your games better to look at, easier to manage, and generally make a lot more sense than vanilla. Kicking us off, we have something that will literally come in useful from the second you spawn into the game. So in most games of Stellaris, the empires are spawned randomly across the map, with some of them being clustered quite close to each other. Now, from a gameplay perspective, this is to force early tension, to force you to be more prepared in every single game that you do, and actually teach you to play the game a lot better. But from a quality of life standpoint, all this really does is teaches you that you need to be prepared no matter what, so you can waste a lot of resources on units that you don't really need earlier on, which can slow you down in other areas of the game where you more need those resources. Alternatively, if you don't prepare and you actually need it to, you can face a quick defeat, so it's not really nice not knowing what you exactly need to do. With this, you no longer need to worry, as every single empire in the game will be evenly spread out across the entire galaxy, meaning you can explore as much as you want early on, before getting into steady wars or diplomacy later on once you've had a chance to establish yourself. Does it make you into a better player to build preparedness into your early game? Yes. But does this make it a little fairer and a lot more relaxing to have everyone spread out? Also yes. At its core, Stellaris is a sandbox game, so this one is going to be down to your preference. But personally, I think this is a lot more balanced out for everyone rather than the standard look of the draw. Next up, we have one that's purely cosmetic but helps you keep track of the map way easier. This one divides the galaxy into rings, so you have the core, the outer core, the inner rim, and the outer rim. This is purely cosmetic, so nothing changes, but it helps you keep track of the map a lot better, especially when you're zooming around it from system to system. Now, instead of having to remember exactly where everything is, you can simply make a mental note of, oh, it's in the bottom left of the outer core, and it's way easier to manage. It's a small change, but I think you'd be surprised how much easier it is to remember areas of a map rather than just one big one. Next we have light borders, and this is another one that is technically graphical but makes the map look way nicer, so I'm going to count it anyway. 90% of the game is looking at this map, so if it looks better, it's improving the quality of your life. It lowers the brightness of borders and empires to make them look a lot tidier and minimal without sacrificing on any clarity. You can still tell exactly who everyone is and where the borders are, now it just means you can see other stuff aside from just this. This is a very small mod and takes like 5 seconds to explain, so there it is. If you like how it looks, then give it a try. Next up we have the UI Overhaul Dynamic. This is a massive mod that changes pretty much every single aspect of all the UI in Stellaris, and if you played Stellaris at all, you know it has a whole lot of interface. The main goal is to make everything easier to see and access without cluttering the screen. Everything from the game rules pop-up to individual planet UI has been reworked to be much nicer to look at while still delivering all the info you need. It'd take too long to go over everything in detail, but we'll go through a few of the new menus here to give you an idea of what to expect. The custom Empire Maker has been enlarged to be easier to work through and see what you're doing. The resource bar in game has been beefed up to make it easier to read without taking up too much space. Basically, every menu has been increased in size for visibility. The planet menu has been moved around a ton, making everything a lot more separated and easier to read. It's way easier to see the leaders on ships and fleets, as well as their available actions. The outliner is also beefed up, making it a breeze to check what's going on all over your empire. The war screen has a ton more info, so it's easy to read and see exactly what's going on, when and where. Like I said, basically every single bit of the UI in the game is bigger and better. So download this mod and just enjoy a better UI. I'm sorry, Paradox, but it's true. Coming right after that, we have Tiny Outliner V2. Combining this one with the UI overhaul seems a little counterproductive, but the two actually work great together. You have the improved clarity, only now the outliner is much more compact, so in the late game you don't need to scroll on forever every single time you want to find something. You can have hundreds of stations, planets and more on the screen at once and still see everything pretty easily without having to squint at your screen. Planets in particular are so much better. The improved automation these days means you can mostly leave them to it, so making them nice and compact on the outliner is no problem, and lets you keep an eye on them without them taking up your entire screen. Even without the UI overhaul, this is a good pick, especially if you're into a smaller, more minimal UI. Just give this one a try and mix and match to find what's perfect for you. Next we have building tier numbers. This one does exactly what you think it does. Buildings can be upgraded to higher tiers. This simply displays that on their icons so you can more easily keep track of what buildings you have at what tiers. I don't really think I need to explain why this one is great. Whether you're relying on automation or doing everything manually, this will make it easier to tell at a glance exactly what buildings you have on each of your planets. In the same vein as this, we have tech tiers revealed. It's pretty much the same thing, but now it's for research instead. There are a bunch of techs that appear over and over again for different tiers of research and different unlocks. This simply shows you which tier you're at, so you can more easily keep track of where you are when researching and what exactly you're going to unlock. It's super simple, but it gets the job done excellently. And finally, we have sort those buildings. This one is super simple, but makes a huge difference, especially when you've got planets with tons of building slots. This will sort buildings into an order and makes it so much easier to see at a glance exactly what you built. If you have multiple of the same building, you can easily see it with this mod, no matter what order they were built in. That's all of our mods for today, but if you're looking for more info on how to actually play Stellaris, then check out this video here where I go over how to create ships and fleets.